All right, everybody, we are here. Yes, below bins, I sure am. Welcome, everybody. Today we're reviewing the Marwan Gharib HA420. Pretty well done 3D model. I'll start in the outside, we'll work our way inside. No, I probably can't fly a 172 anymore. What's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, I do. Where are you controlling at lately? Yeah, come on, man. ZMP Minneapolis. Did you finally make it to center? Go ahead, start taking the covers off. Congratulations, man. I knew you were wanting to go there for a while. All right, now that the cover's off, I'm going to do a thorough pre-flight of the airplane. Faithfully reproduced nose compartment model. Part of the thing that's missing. Oh, very nice. I'm so glad you're here, man. So part of the thing that's missing, there's actually a little stand that comes right here. Forward part of the door. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not. But there's a stand that props this door up. And then on the later models, the Elite more so is a hydraulic jack or a hydraulic arm right here on the back side. So, but we'll start nose to front and work our way around. So, all right, excellent. I'm glad you can see the mouse. So we'll take a look at everything here. We'll move forward. We'll just do a regular pre-flight like we would any other time. This right here, obviously, this is a pedostatic probe, but this is the ADC-1 air data computer probe. And then you have an ice detector right here. So that little tidbit sticking out, and those of you that remember your private pilot knowledge, things that protrude from the fuselage tend to attract ice first. So this little guy has some sort of transistor or something in there to measure resistance, and causes it to vibrate at a certain frequency. When it picks up ice, that's how you get the ice detect. Oh, come on, man, you're killing me. So, but that's the ice detect, and then obviously when you turn the heats on, you can also look out at the wing and find out. Really, really nice job with the metallic effects done here on the leading edge, and we'll come back around on that for the pre-flight. But coming down here, you have the nose landing gear. A little hard to see from this angle. Maybe we'll be able to get it from the backside. But you can see the nose wheel steering right here, and then the scissor link. So what I will say is this is actually nose gear modeling is a little too high. There should be weight in the front. We did change the weight and balance a little bit. You want to have about that much of the metal showing. So this is showing just a little bit too high. They did get the nose wheel correct though. It's actually 5 treads in here, not just the one that you see. And then there's a little bit of an extra flare, but yeah, pretty faithfully redone modeling of the nose wheel tire. I believe this thing's at like 290 or 300 psi, and then these guys back here are at 280. But we'll get to that on the backside of the pre-flight. Coming over here, you have ADC-2 probe. You have another ice detector over here, and then this is the standby. This is the ADC for the standby instruments. Standby instruments only. As you can tell, we do have the JetGo GPU. And the way we would do it, where I used to work, is we would actually place the GPU behind the airplane. Once upon a time, a particular Honda jet operator had it parked in front, and parking brake got released, and the aircraft ran into the GPU. So, names are removed to protect the innocent. This part is correct. That is the external power unit. And then this right here is the anti-ice inspection light. So moving along over here to the leading edge of the wing, you have the fence here, and then yeah, this is all heated, obviously for any ice. And then this little part here is the glare shield, so you don't get blinded by the strobes. Static wicks look to be accurate. Got 3 of them over here. Nicely done. Proportions look correct. And then followed by the trailing edge flaps. So pretty clean. Just missing a few no step decals or no push. But that's fine too. A few more decals over here on the engine as well. And there it is. There's the oil inspection port. Almost very difficult to see right here. But that's the oil inspection port. This is also where we would go and add oil. Right here, you're looking at the back. Somebody mentioned that this was purple. This is actually the burnt effect of titanium. However, that being said, usually this is more of a copper color back here, where the fins or these exhaust fins tend to be black. And I'll see if I can't get a better picture for you. Unfortunately, I don't know how to get in there, because if I did, I could show you the generator vents. This is the ECS exhaust vent, and what this does is obviously vents all the hot air out of the cabin while the ground power is running, or when the AC unit is moving. This here is the fueler port that's faithfully done. Now, if this is an APMG, which I'm assuming that it is, this is actually a fuel quantity indicator. So you'd press it to tell you how much fuel is in there. The Honda Jet Elite actually has fuel slowly light. So what you do is you would press it, and as the FBO personnel and RAM personnel would fuel up the airplane, that light would illuminate when the quantity got above a certain amount, so the splashback wouldn't come up and give them a shower of Jet A. Fins look correct. Rear stab looks correct. Proportions correct for APMG. So again, everything's pointing me to an APMG here. The tail looks correct. Now the tail has a different type of de-icing system. I call them the Tommy knockers, and the actual thing for it I think is called EMAD. So whereas the engine and the wing are all heated leading edge, this here has these tiny little knockers on the back of them, and you'll just hear them going tap 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 during the pre-flight sequence, and it does it by ultrasonic motion to knock the ice off of the leading edge of the horizontal stabilizer. This is your rudder trim tab here. They're super loud in the hangar. Yeah, see, McFly Aviation knows what's going on. So, you have your clamshell doors. I can't remember if they were conjoined or split. I think they're split. So, intake fan here for the ECS. And then, it's hard to see, but there's actually vents up here in the vertical stab. And what those are for is for fresh air intake. So I think above 10,000 feet is where it goes into fresh air versus down here. Here you have the cargo compartments, 400 cubic meters, carries 400 pounds back there. I can tell you that I've packed a lot of crap into these things, and yeah, it'll do it. So we'll go ahead and no. All right, we'll close the cargo door from a different perspective here. Main landing gear looks pretty accurate. However, I don't see any brake wear indicator pins down there. Nothing wrong with that. The door angle looks correct. That's a pretty large angle. And then, just so you guys know, I am a vertically challenged individual, standing at 5'8", and this comes up to about my hip up here. So it gives you an idea of about how long the it wasn't too terrible cloudy, but it gives you an idea of how very vertically challenged. Thanks, Ryan. Gives you an idea how high the wings up there, and we're going to talk about the handling characteristics while we're in flight. So One thing I do not see on here are the aileron trim tabs. So, I believe the Honda... Oh, there we go. There we go. Get low. Okay. Yeah, no brake-wear indicator pins modeled that I can see. So, do you need a booster seat for the newer, bigger plane that I fly? Yeah, it's called a phone book, dude. But you'd have 2 brake-wear indicator pins here. Obviously, only accurate when the parking brake is set. And the rule of thumb was, is if you could catch it with a credit card, you had plenty of brakes left. Access panels back here, faithfully modeled. Very well done in here. And yeah, I do not see an elevator or aileron trim tab, so, but that's okay. So, and then again, very well done with a metallic leading edge. It's absolutely beautiful. Captures the essence of it. I don't recall the lights being this far forward, but I could be wrong there. So, in any case, on to the meat and potatoes. All right, we're now inside the airplane. As previously spoken about, we are doing Portland to, Las Vegas to Portland. And then when all of these updates from Marwan come out, I'm actually going to go by and do the return leg back to Vegas. So this is a typical payload. I can't do fine-tune adjustments. I wanted 260 pounds. So 200 pounds of bags, 60 pounds for the crew gear. Say we have flight bags. I weigh about 200, but I can't get it down to 200. Co-pilot's at 160, 220-pound passengers in the rear. Probably lower that. Oh, no, didn't want to do that. Let's click it up. There we go, 160. That's what I was looking for. And then you can see it's kind of balanced across. Our max takeoff weight. So, 10,700 pounds on the APMG. Max ramper weight, 10,780, and a max zero fuel weight of, I believe, 8890. So, there you go. And then max landing weight is 9860. So we're good there. Again, we're not exceeding the zero fuel weight, but you can see on some of these longer range flights how big or how constrained this airplane could be. We're doing a 739 nautical mile flight, I believe it is, from here to Portland. High-speed cruise, alternate will be required based on the TAF. And again, you can see the chocks. We'll go ahead and shut the rear cargo door. And then the nose cargo door, or front cargo as it were, would have about 50 pounds of flyaway kit in there. So you'd have your, what I'd call the Poo Sucker 5000. It's the attachment that goes on the back of the airplane towards the rear, where it's an externally serviced lab, which is another thing about this airplane. So I don't know how. Ooh, hello. Don't know how to move back there and see the cabin. We'll putz around with that in flight. So, quick look around the cockpit. As you noticed, you got some limitations up here. You have some lights and gas vents, and that's it. I'm being a huge nerd and flying Milan to Snobsdale in the G5, taking some rich people from the Olympics. 2,000 pounds under max takeoff, straight to 400. Love it. Is this an X-plane, I'm assuming? So, your fire bottles are here now. Yep, there's the second bottles. So, you press these, this would say armed, and then you have to hit these buttons to actually discharge the fire into there. So, yeah. So, 8 of you here right now. If you're new to the channel, we'd appreciate the like and the follow. And again, we'll get into a lot more detail as we keep going here. But let's go ahead and power this bad boy up. So the very first thing we did was we turned on the battery. Battery power is what provides power to the parking brake, which was already set. So we're going to set that again. Parking brake is set, right? So with a GPU is on. All 3 screens and all 2 CDUs would light up. So this is accurate. You'd get these. And usually what you'd have here, right, you see these, there's a whole bunch more. You'd have terrain awareness and warning system, the current software load for the Garmin, charts, VFR display, etc. So we're going to hit continue here. And then I'm going to see about, nope, making this full. Let's see here. Oh gosh, come on now. Nope. In any case, it should be full over here. Oh, wait a minute. That's how we do it. Okay, that's what I wanted. So no FMS position. It's going to figure itself out here. Give it time. So there we go. And now it has the GPS all set up. I'm going to go over here to the left pane. Again, you use the left button to navigate between the screens. Pull the joystick back up, and I'm going to hit the ECL button once and get the checklist done. So this pulls up the ECS or the ECL, and then for hold on. There we go. Which pane is it? Yep, that one. When I flew the single pilot, I would throw the aircraft systems up here because this made things easier. Taking a look at our CAS message. Left to right, engine oil low, which is correct because the engines aren't moving. Hydraulic pressure low. That should not be showing up. Battery-powered airplanes, particularly with the Honda, because it's so automated, it's automatically going to power that hydraulic pump on and keep you at 3,000. So if we go over here, look at the hydraulics. There you go. Yeah, it's saying 0, but that pump should be running right now. So that's one thing there, but not a big deal. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the supply on. That's a pull button, not a push button. And then we're going to go over here, go to Utilities, Initialization, and hit the pre-flight. So you're going to get your master warnings, master cautions. All the extinguishers are going to come up, as you can see. I'll go over here to aircraft status while it's doing things. You hear the shaker going off. You'll have a left shaker and then a right shaker. And then all the buttons will illuminate, all very faithfully recreated. These are actually white in color. They're not yellow, by the way. But little minor details, and that's okay. So fire, stall, switch. There's a few more. Cockpit voice recorder if equipped, but both generators have to be online. The actual generators, not the battery. So cockpit voice recorder, stall protection, switch illumination. There's one more that I think I'm forgetting, but yeah, that's okay. So, all right, weight and fuel. So there's crew and stores, right? 220 plus 160 is 380 plus 60, right? 380 plus 60 is gonna be 440. Yay, math in public is hard. Payload. So, and this is what tells me it's a PM or a actually, this actually looks correct. I'm gonna pull my handy dandy calculator out. 220 plus 160 divided by 2. Boom. So we have 2 passengers at 190 pounds each. And we've got, we're just going to say 300 back there. Enter. Fob sync. 327 gallons at 2189. This thing could carry 2,997 pounds. I don't know why the VNAV's illuminated. There wasn't a special button there to show you that it's illuminated. And then landing. Okay. Fuel reserve. Let me type that in. 500 divided by 6.7, 75 gallons. 500 pounds should be a good number for your reserve. Holding time, we don't fill, etc. And that's good to go there. So we've got that. Speed bugs we'll take here in a minute. So with that, flight plan should be here. And then you're going to have a perf calculation. Again, not all faithfully modeled, but I'll call it close enough for government work. Got our squawk code on VATSIM. That's going to be 7761. We'll go with our speed bugs. Generally speaking, 105, 109, 109, 115. So 105, 105, 109, 115. You can get it from Sim 2. All right, so this is saying a little bit more, but we'll take that. Accept initialization. Okay, again, there should be a button for the flight plan in there, but that's okay. Flight plan options. Import from SimBrief. The data from SimBrief is here. Flight plan options is usually where you get this, but this is easy enough. KLAS, KPD, KPDX. Now, there is a way to download this all in the real jet. I know there's been other reviews out there that are saying that there wasn't, but that's okay. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go into SimBrief Dispatch, a view. I'll just hand jam the flight plan real quick. So somebody took the 420 Hotel Echo already. That's why this is 420 Hotel Alpha, but that's fine. We're going to be taking off on 01, actually, because of the departure. So we're doing the Joker 5 to Cano off of 01 right. We'll load that, okay? And this will be really cool because you'll get a pretty good view of the strip on our way out. So we're all the way out to Cano, Coaldale, and the reason you're doing this is you're avoiding the NITR, the Nevada Training and Test Range, is also avoiding the Fallon Naval Training Area. A lot of airspace over Nevada, Utah, and Southern California. So Moxie for the Timbers 3 off of Moxie. And then let's take a look at what runway Portland is using right now. So KPDX D ATIS. I know that in Europe you have ATIS Guru, which will give you most of the D ATISs. Wind's calm, and they are landing 10 left. So 10 left it is. We'll load that. Bada bing, bada boom, flight plans in. So I have a major disdain for military airspace. Yeah, you know what? There's a necessary reason for it, and that's all I have to say about that. So VNav is enabled. Are we going to use that today? Sure. Max Cruise 840. Oh no. This airplane cannot do A4, by the way. So I wonder where this got pulled in from. 2 bows to take up half your airspace, 2 air refueling tracks. Yeah, I could see how that'd be a bit tricky. So, okay. So that takes care of that. I know somebody from the Discord had asked where we change things. So utilities setup, avionics settings. So somebody asked about changing the director queue. So you're going to go into your CDU. You're going to hit utilities, Setup, avionics settings. We called this button KUSA. There's a button on the stick right here that's not modeled, but that's where this is. So if you want to go from single queue to dual queue, that's how it's done. With us being fully configured already, I just hit the toga buttons. That was my reminder that our system was done. Units, magnetic, nautical, and then fuel. I'm going to do in pounds. Weight in pounds, right? Alerts. Yep. I want those MFD fields. Okay. Ground speed, track. We're going to go out of track and go into... where is it? Don't need ISA. ETA. I just want to know what time we're going to get there. And you'll see that now pop up. You've got ETA and ETE, estimated time en route, followed by ETA. So that's why we're doing that. And then audio alert voice is female. She'll be telling you like wrong runway. So sim brief is there. Load airways. PC platform for moving maps and Navigator's charts. Please use the standalone sim link. Already done. Signed in. We're good to go there. So initialization is done. However, on the map settings, we want to go heading up. That's correct. We're going to put traffic, terrain in absolute mode. Yes. And we could throw current weather radar on there. Inset window, flight plan. Oops, that is not the one that I want. I want it over here. So if you're ever wondering, check the shaded border. Find out which tab you're selecting. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Ooh, perf. Now, okay, so it doesn't give you the ability to put in cruise altitude. So again, map settings, traffic, current radar, inset window, flight plan text, right? Because this is what I use. Excuse you, kitty. I'm sorry, my cat. Hang on. He's dreaming right now. Give me just a second. Kitty cam just got activated. There's the cat. Oh, hello. He just woke up. Sorry. Sleepy boy. He's there. Let me do one thing here. I want to change the zoom so you guys can actually see him. There you go. Okay. Sleepy boy. All right, back to the airplane. Flight band texts, obviously airspace VORs. NDBs, nobody uses them. User waypoints, if we need them, they're there. Other north up above. No, I do not want north up. Oh, that's above 1,000 miles. And then, yes, I do want to see the wind vector. Map sync is all. MFD left. So that takes care of that. And again, if you're ever wondering, so even if you have the MFD selected, pressing this button right, nope, that shouldn't have done that. So that should not have done that. Yeah, that shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. Go to full map, we're good to go there. So come over here, click on that button, and we'll start moving through the electronic checklist. Batteries on, oxygen's on, pressurization's on, electrical, ELT, nose wheel steering is in normal. All these should be cold and dark, as it were, right? Yeah, we'll see. Again, I'm not here to bust up on everybody's job, right? So Alternate gear extension handle is stowed. Parking brake is set. Flaps are up. Thrust levers are in cutoff. Speed brake, if installed, is retracted, right? And again, this is a manual switch. This is not an auto deploy. Ice protection, normal and off. Fuel panel is normal. Trim panel, check set norm. They're all centered here. Windshield heat panel should be norm. I'm not going to mess with that, right? Because it should already be on. Let's see. Pneumatic panel is already set. Don't need to mess with that. Glare shield panel is dark. We are going to set the current altimeter. Chime. I don't recall a chime being in there, but that's okay. Avionics initialization is complete. Okay, so now we're going to come over here. We're going to brief our departure real fast. No available charts under info. Departure. All right. Oh, there it goes. It just synced up. So, and there you go. You have the moving map here. Now, one of the things, talk about safe taxi real quick. Yeah, I won't show it at this zoom, but Garmin Safe Taxi. Nobody cared if you used it, but you just had to absolutely make sure that you had the charts up somewhere. So we're going to use the Jeppesen chart for our taxi today. But we're over here at Atlantic, parked on the northwest side of the field. We're going to taxi all the way down here and then depart off of one ride. I think that's Kilo all the way down. And then on our departure, we're doing the Joker 5 RNAV. So initial altitude is flight level 190. We'll go ahead and set that. Oh, that's the speeds. Sorry, these are set backwards. Oh, come on. Don't do that to me. 190. 19,000 set. Rufus is there. And in case you guys are wondering, here's the actual Rufus. This is the real deal. It's the real thing. He's made it through 2 different carriers with the Honda Jet. So he is real. It wasn't a figment of somebody's imagination, but there he is. So, yep, 190. The speeds all match. We are good to go. So, starting engines. Passenger briefing is complete. Sit down, shut up. God damn it. It did it again. It should not be doing this, guys. It should not be doing this. Map. See, you can tell old habits die hard. But that's okay. Come over here. Passenger briefing is complete. Rudder pedals are adjusted. Seat belts adjusted, secure. Doors. Let's go ahead and shut this door now. Alrighty, doors are closed and locked. Lights out. Parking brake is set. CAS messages are reviewed. That is standard. External power door open. Generators are off. And left and right engine shutdown should be there. I can't remember if those would stay on or not, but in any case, we'll get it started here shortly. Electrical volts, 23.5 min. Let's take it out our electrical. And yeah, bus tie should be open. You do not want this closed, by the way. This only happens when there's emergency power. But external power is there, generators are offline, and the batteries are good to go at 25.4 volts. Hit enter here, and then we'll go ahead and start engine. So, clear on the left. Looks good there. All right, this is going to happen relatively quick, so bear with it, friends. All right, there it is. All right, come on. Okay, why is this? There it goes. It's a very quick startup. I don't know why the fuel pressure is low. The fuel pump should come on automatically when the engines start. That's one of the 4 times that those engines come on. So there should be, if it's an auto, it should automatically come on, and you should not have a low fuel pressure warning like that. So we'll accept that. First engine has started. Now, because we have GPU connected, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and disconnect ground power, and then I want to see what the generator is modeling. Okay, so this right here, you would actually see like 150 or whatnot as the current generator takes over. So that's something that could be discussed about as a quality of life upgrade, but not a big deal. Okay, left engine or right engine start. There it is, above 12. We will move that one forward. Cabin power is off. It should be normal. I don't know why the cabin power is off. We're going to call that an unnecessary and superfluous warning for right now. I'm trying to remember where the cabin power... Oh. That button's on by default. Okay. This is the message you should get, or should have, after engine start. You notice everything's cleared up. Generators are all online. Environment's good to go. Fuel's fine. And then anti-ice. Now, after engine start, there should be a test that's going on, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about it. Cabin power is always off for some reason. Yep, I could talk to Marwan about that. Okay, flaps down for takeoff. That's set. Engine instruments are checked. Everything's in the green. We're good to go. Engine anti-ice is off. External power is disconnected. Flight controls. You would be able to see the wings out here. These are free and correct. Now, this is a little bit snappy for the response, but that's okay. That just could be a control thing. So, that's good here. We'll go to the next checklist. You always want to move on to the next one before you move on from a different ping. So we have wing anti-ice. Transponder code is entered. Flight ID is confirmed. Flight plan. Okay. Flight plan should not be part of the before taxi checklist. So, in fact, it's not even a checklist item, but that's okay. Nav source is also not a checklist item. Altimeters are, and they are set 3022. Flaps set for takeoff. Speed brake. So we're going to open these real quick. And if you want to see what those look like extended, this will be what it looks like on the outside. So there you go. There's the clamshells. Did you ever find out if the E2 or regular Elite have different ranges? Yeah. Hey, Duke, welcome. I know for a fact that they do, but this one in the sim is not an E2. It's an Elite, like an Elite minus, as it were. And again, if you're just joining the channel, welcome. Again, every little bit helps. Feel free to like and subscribe. I know IRL they do, but I was wondering if the sim. No, I don't believe that it does. So, hey, McFly, thanks very much for the follow. Thank you. And parking brake to be released. Okay. So, what I said about completing the checklist, you go to the next one before moving on. And then we're going to go over to charts. And again, it's probably got a load over here. And in the real world, I would have the safe taxi up here, but I'd have the chart up here. Because if something were to happen on the taxi, it's my ass, but at least I had this up here. And that's what the FAA wants to see. Okay, chocks are removed. The FBO guy's giving us the all clear. And we are ready to taxi. But before I do that, I gotta see what the CTAF is. Is this plane single pilot in real life? Yes, it is, and I'm actually single pilot typed in it. So we're gonna check the CTAF real quick for Las Vegas before we start moving. 19.9. One of the things I really love about this jet, guys, really, really, really easy to change frequencies. Enter, boom. Las Vegas traffic, Honda Jet November 420 Hotel Office, taxiing from Atlantic Aviation down to runway 01 right, Las Vegas traffic. And yeah, I am single pilot typed in it. I've got about 100 and change hours out of 800 flying this single pilot. So brakes work. There should not be an idle indicator here. Maybe that's an auto throttle modeling thing. I'm not sure. Super easy to find freaks. Yes, it is. So again, that idle, I'm not sure if that's a auto throttle thing or not. So we're gonna go over here. Perf, speed bugs, all on. There we go. Now our V speeds are set. These would actually be magenta in real life if it's all done. So a few minor colors here and there. And I know everybody's asking about making this full screen. In the real world, this is all you get on this side, and this is all you get on that side. And oh, by the way, for the guy asking about the dual Q, right? I have dual Q up over here, V bars over here. You'll have to set those in the individual MFD fields. So there's that. All right. Now that we're over here on this page, we'll go to the taxi checklist. All right. Brakes are checked. Nose wheel steering is checked. Flight instruments. Slip skid, opposite direction of the turn. No flags. Blue over brown. Heading is swinging in the proper direction. Within 75 feet of field elevation. And flight instruments check is complete. And no flags. Talking about GPS flag, etc.
Traffic, Spurwing 66, clear of runway 26 left, taxiing to the Delta gates via Alpha 6, crossing runway 26 right, then at Bravo.
Okay, trim is set, or we'll keep going. Flaps are set for takeoff. Trim is set for takeoff. Speed brake is retracted. Cast messages are reviewed. Navigation is set. Flight guidance is set. Toll data is... Oop, getting a little way. But 110, 115, 120, and 200 again. There's usually 105, 109, 115, and 115. The last V speed is irrelevant. It's safety, single engine safety speed is what that's going to be. So if you bang one out, that's what you're going to hold to. Takeoff briefing is done. Will abort for 80 reason prior to 80 knots. Above 80 prior to V1. Engine fire failure. Lost direction control. Jam control column. Excuse me. Any doubt of the aircraft's ability to get into the air. We'll take it into the air. Fly the airplane first. Get to a safe altitude. Secure what we can. And then bring it on back here. It is VFR, clear, and 8 million here in Las Vegas. So that's where we're going to go. Ice protection is not required, and oh shit, LA Center just came online. All right, well, that fixes that one. Stand by real quick here, guys. Spot number there. All right, 126525. 26525. Trick for the Garmin: you don't have to put 1 in front of the number; it auto populates. The beeps of anxiety, huh? And Los Angeles Center, Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha is taxiing down to runway one right here in Vegas. Just got our PDC and squawking 7761. Like to continue taxi.
420 Hotel Alpha, LA Center, hello. Just want to verify you planned runway 1 right.
That's affirmative, 1 right for 420 Hotel Alpha.
420 Hotel Alpha, roger. Runway 1 right at Bravo taxi via Foxtrot Bravo, cross runway 1 left at Bravo.
Okay, 1 right via Foxtrot Bravo, cross 1 left at Bravo. Honda 0 Hotel Alpha. That's going to be a mouthful. Okay, so as we're coming down, we're looking for Bravo. There's Sierra. Foxtrot is the long one. I knew I missed one. So we have our checklist for after takeoff, and things are going to move very quickly here. So the way the takeoff sequence is going to go, we're going to advance full power, let her rip. Yaw damper could come on at 150 feet, autopilot above that. Flight directors are engaged. The only thing that I'm going to do is hit nav before we take off. So, and then I'm curious if the synthetic vision is actually going to show our takeoff runway. Did you arm VTEC? Yes, that's always armed. Always armed. And just so you guys know, if you're not able to make the stream, this will be cross-posted on YouTube when I'm all done. So, yeah. But I appreciate you guys being here. Again, if you got people chatting in the Discord for FFX, please go ahead and tell them, come on in here. They can pepper me with all the questions they want. Don't care. Ellie Sitter, Honda 420 Hotel Alpha question.
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, what do you show for a final altitude for 0 Hotel Alpha?
420 Hotel Alpha, it'll be 430 unless you want something else. That's wait.
Nope, 430 is exactly what we want. I just can't remember to transfer it over.
Sounds good.
There's Whiskey, and then Bravo is down here at the end.
Delta 2828 LA Center, welcome, maintain Mach 0.80 or greater for spacing.
So we come over here, aircraft systems normal. This is the very first thing we're going to need.
Delta 2828
now,
LA Center, welcome, maintain Mach 0.80 or
normal
greater
climb
for
speed 210 in the Honda Jet, yes. You're gonna want 210. It's gonna give you a much better altitude. So taxi lights are on, strobes are off, beacon and navs are on. This is accurate. When you get on the runway, these will automatically turn on. Landing lights will come on with the advancement of the throttle, and then they automatically turn off, I believe, at 18,000 feet. But this is all GPS stuff.
Center Frontier 4114, we're at Las Vegas, and we have information Bravo at spot Charlie 21.
And that's one thing I'm gonna do. I just changed our speeds to manual.
Taxi via Bravo Delta, cross 26 right at Delta.
I don't want the automatic, because again, the auto throttle I'm not gonna use.
Seaward 21 Bravo, LA Center, welcome, squawk 5161. Squawk 5161.
Okay, so winds are calm right now. So we're on Foxtrot. It's going to be a left-hand turn on Bravo.
2518 heavy. We're at Ontario holding.
He did clear us to cross on Bravo.
UPS 2518 LA Center, hello. Wind calm, runway 26 left, clear for takeoff.
Alright, 26 left, clear for takeoff. 2518.
But yeah, 210 is the best climb rate, and then we'll talk about altitude versus everything else once we get airborne. So, crossing 1 left on Bravo. It did clear us to cross. In Los Angeles, Honda 0 Hotel Alpha is ready to go 1 right at Bravo.
420 Hotel Alpha, wind available at 3, runway 1 right at Bravo, clear for takeoff.
1 right at Bravo, clear for takeoff, 0 Hotel Alpha. Okay, we're all set, guys. For takeoff checklist is complete. Coming up on 1 right at Bravo. And again, the big thing that I'm going to hit here is nav. So now it's going in FMS. You just saw the Q pointer move. And then we're going to see how this baby handles. All right. And shout out to Fly Tampa. Very nice rendition of the Las Vegas airport. This looks about as true to life as we could get. So there's that on center. And set power. Power set. And here we go. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots cross check. V1 rotate. Nice gentle unstick. Took a minute to get up there, but that's okay. Power's accelerating nicely. Positive rate, gear up. You never want to pull the flaps out until about 400 feet. There it is, above 400.
Airport 0 Hotel Alpha, radar contact, Falcon.
0 Hotel Alpha is leaving 2,700, climbing via.
Airport 0 Hotel Alpha, roger, climb, maintain, flight level 430.
Unrestricted, flight level 430, 0 Hotel Alpha.
EPS 25.
So now we're going to put it at flight change.
Passing 3,700 EPS 2817.
Stick it up to 210.
2518, radar, climb, maintain, flight level 350.
Alright, up to 350 EPS
210. And then we're going to spin this all the way up, 430. Very rare that we get that. Very rare. So 43 it should cap. It shouldn't allow you to spin past that. There's 43. Flight level change is complete. Again, very nice view of the strip on the way out. This is just phenomenal scenery. I've done this departure plenty of times in real life. So after takeoff checklist, yaw damper is engaged. Flaps are up. Max continuous. That's the one thing I forgot. Okay, come on. There we go. MCT. Flight guidance is as required. Eyes protection is off and cabin signs as required. Okay. Climb checklist will set through 18,000. We're good to go there. Oh, wish I could afford to upgrade my CPU or GPU. Yeah, likewise. This is just a 3090, guys. This isn't anything highfalutin. So, because he's given us unrestricted, we're not going to be talking all that much. Let's take a look outside. Pretty well done airplane, guys. And again, this is more or less what Las Vegas looks like, and it probably is that hazy out there. But yeah, that's a beautiful sign right there. Now, what I can't see, the lights don't appear to be on. Yeah, even the lights appear to be off there. But the new engine sounds are so amazing. Yes, they are. So we'll get back in the cockpit. And again, if people are wondering in the stream, feel free to ask all the questions you want. Get everybody in that you can. The more people we have, the more chat engagement we get, the better. So let's talk about what's going on here. Flight level change. Let's go into some PFD settings real quick.
Center will be back in just a minute.
Attitude overlays, synthetic terrain. Yes, you can do that. Synthetic vision systems I can't mess with. Back. Other PFD settings. I always have my AOA on, and you're going to understand why the higher we get. This airplane is very ISA sensitive. So, the rule of thumb, 200 knots AOA 0.5 and below, and ISA +5 and below, you'll be able to make it up to 43,000 all day long. If it's hotter than that, good luck getting up there. So I always have the AOA indicator on. Wind, you could go with the cross vectors like this. I prefer this. And then we go back. Altitude units, right? We want it in inches. And then sensors, right? We're not going to mess with these. You'd only mess with these if you lost ADC 1 or 2. So that takes care of that. PFD mode is split, right? Bearing 1, nav 1, nav 2, FMS. You can have that up there. This will be nice for the preview mode. And we'll get into that as we make our way into Portland. So that takes care of that for your PFD settings. Again, active nav. So the climb rate's getting a little anemic, but again, with it being ISA +11, that's probably why. Just so everyone's aware, I am using Active Sky as the predominant weather source. Active Sky has a little bit better interpolation. It's giving you the clouds that you're seeing, and then I'm using Rex Atmos for the environment. And so, in case you were wondering why it looks that good. I don't recall Barrow being here, and I seem to remember some other windows here. I'll have to take a look at the pictures that I have relative to the ISS there.
Alright, we want to exceed Mach 0.76.
Okay, there's 18. I'm going to hit this button here to put us in standard, and standard over there. Direct no, 0 Hotel Alpha. Okay, so we're going to come back here. Cano, direct to, activate, and that just shaved probably a boatload of time for us. Would you recommend Active Sky and Rex Atmos? Absolutely. Hands down. I've been an Active Sky user for the longest time. They did great work in Microsoft Flight Sim. Further with, oh, these are not synced. Let's go in there and fix that. So, utilities, setup, avionics setting, flight director, hard only, 3,000 feet, show airport on landing. Oh shoot, there should be a way to sync these up, and that would be in here. So unfortunately no way to sync it, but they should cross populate. Thus far, flight dynamics seem to be accurate. The rotation and climb out of Las Vegas was very accurate for the time period, or for the time of day and temperature, etc. 2,600 feet seems to be good. What you're not seeing is starting to see the porpoising that you would get. So in the real airplane, at this point I'd be going into vertical speed because the aircraft's going to start to hunt that flight level change. It's a very common theme in Garmin controlled airplanes, by the way. I've seen it in the Honda, and then I've seen it in the CJ series that are all Garmin controlled. So there's that aspect to it. So I have my charts here. If I really wanted to be high speed, go over here, sync POF. I put PDX in here just to have it loaded. There it is, airport info, etc. 10 left is going to be great because all we have to do is exit off the runway, right hand turn, etc. From a simmer's perspective, I'm okay with taking realism hit to not have pitch on it. It's part of the fun, man. Part of the reason why you're seeing the stick shaking right now is because I'm using a Moza AB9 force feedback base. So that's just simulating the vibration out of the actual airframe. So we're coming above the layer right now. No ice needed, I don't think. It's still showing ISA plus 11. Okay, there it is. Now it's starting to go down. So I'd be curious to see what it actually is out there. Climb rate's more or less on par, but once we start getting through 27, 28, 29, you're going to see that start to pitch over. About 5.5 to 6 degrees is usually the pitch attitude that we would use. So, yeah. Fuel rate seems to be good. And this is showing us... what is it showing us? Fuel over destination. Ooh, that's problematic. It is not showing us fuel over destination.
Alaska 5, do not
That is important.
Alright, we want to
See,
exceed Mach point 80
oh,
Alaska
son
5.
of a bitch. Oops, sorry I cussed. My bad, guys. Oops.
American 2743, say Mach.
Cumulative. Okay,
American
that's not
2743,
showing.
Roger, maintain Mach 0.72.
I want to go in here and I want to see set up avionics setting MFD fields, and I'm going to change one of these to fuel over destination. This number is really important, and that should be right up here on the screen as much as possible. Okay, fuel over destination right now, showing 1,000 and change pounds. You can see that number changing. It's a little hard to see, but oh, it's showing negative. Okay, so that's what's going to tell me and lead me to believe that this is an APMG. So one of the major differences, and by the way, you can see our climb rate just starting to descend there.
47 radar contact, south.
We're now only doing 1,500 a minute versus 2,600. On the actual, on the elites and above, it would not be a progressive like this. So this is just as is. It's not factoring in actual winds aloft, etc. As we get up to altitude, etc., it'll show us. And I wonder if the range rings are actually active here. They're not. So, for those of you that fly on like the PMS GTN 750 or the TFI ones, you're actually going to have two rings. You're going to have a hash ring, which is your predicted fuel until reserve, and then you're going to have a solid green ring, which is absolute zero for the fuel. I'm not sure if Working Title has that done yet, but in any case, not a big deal. However, fuel over destination, that is a very important number. Now at 43, these numbers should stabilize right at about 220 per hour. This airplane sips gas up high. That's the benefit of the HF120 engines. They're incredibly fuel efficient. And for those of you that may not have noticed, there's now a green arc up here. Half bank has been enabled, so autopilot won't go past these turns in flight. So thus far, incredibly stable. We've got, I'm not sure why it said 2 hours 42 minutes. That didn't sound right. Okay, there we go. Fuel remaining. Though that's over Coaldale. Coaldale, never mind. My bad. Alright, so our ETA is at 2323. And again, this is not going to the destination, which is what I want. Hey, will Marwan add the takeoff landing perf into the initialization page? You know what? I can't promise that. And again, if you saw my disclaimer at the beginning of the stream, unfortunately, I can't speak for the developers. Marwan is phenomenal to work with. He does exactly what he can. He's one of the really good ones. He's not like a certain developer that's going to gaslight you and tell you you're a moron in more or less terms. And I'll give you a hint. It's usually related to ground products right now. It's one of those programs where you kind of need it because they own the field, but Yeah, so Marwan is really good. I could talk to him about it and see what he says, but I can't promise anything. And I'm not one of those types of people to promise you something and not be able to deliver. And I know Marwan's the same as well. But James, great question. And welcome to the channel, by the way. If you haven't, by all means, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have Prime, please feel free to use that. It's no charge to you. So, James, thanks for the follow, good sir.
0.81, but that's our max right now for Alaska 5.
So,
Yeah, that's all good. I'm just letting you go faster if you want.
as you can see here, look how anemic our climb rate has gotten above 35. And this is about accurate. Right above 35, you'll be lucky to get 1,000 per minute. The ice is coming down, though, which is a really good sign. So, what I'm actually going to start doing, see it's starting to hunt and it's starting to porpoise. So this is actually happening at a much higher altitude than usual, but this is the porpoising behavior that I was talking about. It's really hard to see it in the sim. However, it's very noticeable in the real airplane because it's that pitch sensitive. So we're going to do vertical speed, and we're going to start letting the speed drop off, as it were. However, I'm still going to bug 200 because that's what I'm going to shove this down to about 500.
All right, at Preno, cleared ILS 26 left approach and have Bravo on board American 2732.
And if in case you're wondering, thanks, man. We'll do it. I fly a nice M600 and TBM in Europe and about to acquire an APMG Honda. Oh, the actual APMG? Like a real one?
Alaska 5, descend to be the Angel 4, arrival on Terra altimeter 3010, maintain Mach 0.30 greater till the transition.
Alright, send me the Angel 4, and we'll maintain Mach 0.80 greater in the transition Alaska 5.
Either 2018 or 2019 model. Hey, if you haven't done so already, do me a favor, join the Discord. If you have any questions that I can help you with, I would be happy to. I've worked for 2 Honda Jet operators, and I was the chief pilot of the biggest one for 2.5 years. I have a lot of operational info for you. I'm not sure if you're flying private, personal, or for a company, but I'll be happy to give you a lot of information that I think is going to save you a lot of headache and a lot of problems in the future. So please, by all means, join the Discord and feel free to send me a PM because I've got some good tidbits of information for you. So again, as we get up to altitude, the winds start picking up here. Our ground speed's going to start decreasing. So our true air speed's 368, but our ground speed's only 300. So, that's okay. However, here, I'm actually going to move this pane off. So right now, this is showing minus 500 pounds. As we get higher, that number is trending more and more positive. So I would often tell people, particularly when flying the APMG bird, you're always going to have a negative number. Trust in ForeFlight. I would highly recommend using ForeFlight for your flight planning software. In the real world, SimBrief is fine for government work. But I would tell you that ForeFlight was about nuts on accurate when it came to performance capability. So we're right at 200, and just to keep the speed going, I'm going to drop it to 500 feet per minute. I should also have a red tape starting to show up, and then by the time we get up to 43, we're going to be hovering right at about the 190 mark to change change with the altitude here.
Seabird 21 Bravo, LA altimeter 3010 at circuits, cleared ILS runway.
Pilots climbing at 500 feet per minute up high is the bane of my existence. I don't know what to tell you, man. I can't fight physics, bud. But if you ask me if I could get up somewhere in 300 knots or in 3 minutes or greater, I'll be like, unable. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, let me just crap one out, buddy. That wasn't for us, I don't think. But we'll see.
That was all static.
So, again, 500 feet per minute. We're keeping our 200 knots right now. And then once we get up to altitude, we'll start to accelerate a little bit, but it'll start to stabilize. So, yeah. And this is part of the reason why I chose this route. I knew we'd be going into the winds, and this would kind of cause a little bit of performance factor. But you notice that I keep going back to fuel over destination and ISA. Now, do I think it's actually -9 up there? No, because our climb rate would be off the charts right now. So real world airplane, if it was -9, we'd be climbing like a homesick angel up to altitude. So I see our viewer count going up. Those of you that are just joining us, thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. And again, I should be getting a red bar here. And unfortunately, we're not seeing it. But in the real Honda, you'd be having a red overspeed bar that is showing your MMO slash V&E. So, like I said, little minor things, but generally the essence of the airplane has been captured very, very well.
Yeah, that's fine. Runway 34 left, taxi via Bravo.
And again, we're just going to keep it at 500 feet per minute on the way up right now and let that speed decay. Because, again, ISA +5 and below, AOA 0.5 and below, 200 knots more or less. In the Legacy Elite, did you have an overspeed voice? No. So the SAS channels, stability and augmentation system, you get an overspeed warning, and then the aircraft would pitch up to bleed the speed off. Well, actually, well, hold on a second. There was one airplane that I flew that didn't have the SAS. Trying to think here. In any case, stability augmentation system would prevent you from overspeeding. I'm trying to remember if the Honda was a beep or if I'm crossing that with crossing that with a CJ3. But the CJ3 will just give you over to UCOM 122.8. Thanks very much for the air traffic control. You have a good night.
Use American 2732 Wincom.
Okay, we're on Unicom. Guys, real quick, don't go anywhere. I'm going to step away for a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back, and we'll continue. Oh, kitty. Kitty. Say hi. Fluff Bucket absolutely just knocked that camera over. I know he did. All right, guys, and we are back. Okay. So now you can see our speeds getting to about 190 knots indicated, 189. That is accurate for the airplane. So the what you're seeing here is absolutely accurate. Am I correct in saying the landing field elevation hasn't been programmed in yet? It's automatic. So yeah, landing field elevation should be animated. I'm not sure why it's not. That was a really good question. So, hang on, guys. Oops. Take a look at something. Yeah, it should be programmed, but I'm going to take a look real quick and see if I can mess with that. But yes, James, you are correct. LFE should already be programmed. And, ooh, let me see if I can remember how to do that here. There's a way to do it. Controls, that was where, I think it's under system controls where you've got to do it. Okay, that's all good. Kitty's talking setup. Yeah, so that should be automatically based on Portland. So good catch. I didn't see that. All right, 1,000 to go. 180 knots now indicated. If Ryan wasn't losing his mind, he definitely is now. Wanting to know why they're letting the guys in the slow lane move up. So, yeah. So slow. No, my personal favorite is maintain 300 knots or greater, and the only words I get to tell you are unable. Unable. But yeah, James, good catch there on that. I didn't even see that until I noticed. And then that number is actually going to be in magenta for the landing field elevation. It's also fun when you get to TBMs at flight level 310, you have an airline coming right up their tailpipe. James, he's talking about you, good sir. Resident TBM driver. Which TBM are you currently flying, James? And we are actually going to cut the corridor here, go direct Coaldale. I think we're out of the airspace here. And did not want to do that because now we're facing more into the wind. Shit. Oh yeah. Here, let me complete the climb checklist. Ta-da! All right, cruise. Easiest checklist in the world. And that's it. Verify set. Well, it's not set. So I'm wondering why it's not showing. TBM 910. Gotcha. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, TBM's quite the capable performer. All right, guys. So we're at cruise. As it continues to stabilize and the speed starts to gain, and this is, I mean, Marwan absolutely nailed it with the aircraft performance. It's a very long time for it to regain the energy. And again, we'll take it up to like 7.1. True airspeed should, well, on a good day, would normalize at about 420 knots. And again, we're eating the winds right now. So, welcome to the world for 43,000 feet. Nicely done with the window scratching here. As you can see, that's what that is. That's not some like crazy sun pattern. The only thing, so you can see the heating elements here. That's what these are. So that's what these, we call them shark teeth. So let's see here. I want to take a look. There you go. So this is a little bit high, but these shark teeth, they're the heating elements for the airplane. So we'll zoom back in here. Those windows are the bane of my existence. Glad they switched to PPG. Yeah, no, the APMG windows. And James, that's one to make sure if you're getting ready to fly an APMG, whoever you're buying it from, make them comply with the windshield AD if it has not already been done so. That's going to save you about $750,000 US just in parts alone. So let's go ahead and take a look on the exterior. And I mean, she's looking beautiful. And again, I used to run concurrently on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, and now it's all on Microsoft 2024. Just look at this. This is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Breathtaking visuals. But yeah, and if you're wondering what the Nevada desert looks like, yeah, that's what it looks like. Very inhospitable and nasty terrain. And there's a reason why they have so much airspace over it. So we'll come back inside. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up and go around the cabin. I don't know how to free look or move my position around in here. So in the interest of maintaining the integrity of the stream, I'm not going to. So, but one of the things that we will start doing here shortly, let's refresh the ATIS here. Information here, winds 300 at 46 miles, light rain, mist, overcast 3300, temperature 6, 2.5, altimeter 3013. So, what I am going to do, so this should not be happening. There should be a preview window that's available. And you can set the altimeter for your way on the descent, and that's how that should go. Okay, so it is a button, or it is a scroll wheel. Alright, so that answers that one. So, general rules of thumb when it comes to your planning. 5,000 foot dry, 6,000 foot wet, and these are minimums. I would recommend a lot more. This aircraft does not deal well in short runways. It's very finicky. So hang on, I'm answering and get an ad when talking about windshields. I believe they're offering PPG replacements for the legacy one. So let's continue to talk about the landing. So the Honda is ubiquitous in the terms that okay, see, this is more accurate. So you have the white tape here, but again, you'd get a red bar up here as well. Oh, there it is. Finally. Interesting. I wonder why it took so long to populate. Very interesting. Anyways, we finally have a red bar here. And then if you look at our fuel over destination, okay, so the fuel flow is off. That should not be at 36,660, and these numbers should actually be coming down as we get higher. I wonder why these are so high. So this number should be below 500 combined. So, and it's not from the winds. That would be irrespective of the winds. We're about to come on to the arrival after year-end, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. All right, back to landing. So, the Honda is notorious for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, you have 3 large vertical lifting surfaces. You have these 3.5 foot long wingtips, which do play a factor when your wingspan is only 40 some odd feet long. You have your engine mounted pylons, and then you have your vertical stab. All of these exacerbate weather vaning tendencies. All right. And what I mean by weather vaning is it's the tendency of the aircraft to turn into the wind. So if we're landing and we have a left quarter in crosswind, it's going to want to go to the left, vice versa to the right. The Honda Jet, I believe, has made over 300 aircraft, and there's been somewhere around the total of like 41 or 42 excursions and accidents. Definitely one overrun. I believe it was up in Portland when they were trying to 280 and counting. I thought it was at 300 already, but I could be wrong. In any case, that weather vaning tendency adds to one part of it. The next part of it is a very finicky anti-skid system. So, the brakes won't activate until 3 seconds weight on wheels, approximately 3 seconds. Okay? So when you touch down, you're going to have no braking for the first 3 seconds. You're going to push on them and you're going to feel pressure, but you're not going to have any feedback. On a wet runway, the mantra is once on, never off. And again, this is an APMG. The spoilers do not auto deploy on an APMG. If it's going to do it in the sim, I'll have to talk to Marwan about that. However, with that, what you are going to have is once you're on them, you're going to have a pulsing feelings. So you get the first one, it's going to pulse, and every instinct in your body as a pilot is going to be to pull off. You have to stay on it. You're going to feel them grab and then pulse again, and then on the third one, it's actually going to grab and start decelerating. It is very unnerving. You're going to be watching all your runway distance remaining signs go behind you, and then finally they start to slow down. Common mistakes that Honda Jet pilots make. They try to go for differential braking. Does not work. Does not work. So you steer with the rudders, but your feet better be on the toes. Symmetrical braking, okay? Symmetrical braking is the name of the game. The next part of it, wing into the wind. So if you have a left crosswind, particularly a heavy one, and you're not adjusting for it, that wing will lift up on you. And what will happen is think of a wheelbarrow. What happens to a wheelbarrow when you become off balance? One side's going to feel heavier than the other. Same thing on the anti-skid system. So it's going to sense a decel on that compressed strut and an acceleration on the extended strut. So what it's going to do is it's going to release this brake and apply here, and now you're going to go over here. And if that system repeats itself, now you're creating artificially induced, pilot-induced oscillations down the runway. And when you're already in a finicky airplane that has a low wing, a narrow wheelbase on very small tires compressed at 280 psi, you can imagine how that's going to play out on a wet runway. C9 viewers now, welcome. Appreciate you guys coming to the channel. If you're new here, feel free to join the chat. Ask your questions about the Honda Jet. We're talking about landing performance and capability right now. And that's going to continue as we get closer into Portlandia. So, again, welcome to the channel. Feel free to give us a like and a follow. Fire your questions away. And for those of you just joining us, just be aware, this is being recorded. It will be cross-posted on YouTube. It will go on YouTube, and we'll be going there. Enjoying the conversation. Saw one on display at Oshkosh 2 years ago. Delwyn Send, welcome. Please continue. Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you joining the conversation, about 800 and change hours in the Honda Jet. I was a check pilot as well as a chief pilot for an organization that had about 28 of them. So I've seen the gambit from the Legacy all the way up to the Elite 2. I've flown them all. And right now I would say this is crossed between, it's bridging the gap between an APMG and an Elite. It's not quite one or the other. And again, as the conversations continue, both in FSS, or not FSS, good God. Sorry, guys. Brain fart moment. As it continues in Flight FX. Sorry. Got him jacked up. So, hang on. Hang on. Sorry, I'm also typing in FFX as we're talking. So, where the Elite 2 gains some more fuel capacity is them moving the fuel tank. So, what they did is instead of having the fuel tank sitting farther aft, they kind of lowered it and moved it forward and made it bigger. They were able to take advantage of the aircraft shape. I'm really not liking what our fuel is doing. So I am going to tell you that the fuel numbers are off. Up at altitude, these numbers are off. And especially for the ISA, sorry, and guys, what I may do is actually cheat, but these should be at about 220 pounds up at this height. 43,000 is the max ceiling for the airplane. And right now this is showing us landing with 300 pounds of fuel. That's inaccurate. If we were landing, so first off, this is already an emergency situation. Because at 220 pounds, low fuel lights illuminate on each tank. Your fuel pumps kick on, and below 400 pounds, you get a low fuel warning. I've taken it as low as 385 before, and let me tell you, that was a very tight situation. So, what I will say is that up at cruise, I'm not sure how the audio is coming through. She does not look happy. Where's your shades, knucklehead? In reality, this is about as close as you're going to be to the other person. This is not even a foot wide. It's maybe about 8 inches. It's very, very small. She's worried about the fuel too. Yes, she is, Downwind Sim. Downwind said, how'd you come to the channel today? Was it through the FFX Discord, or was it through the tags? What brought you to us today? Just found you on Twitch. All right, man. Well, welcome to the big show. But yeah, we keep continuing here. Look different than the tube liners. Yeah, it is a little bit different. Over the weekend, I did some backcountry flying in the the Viking Aerospace Beaver. I know it's a de Havilland, but I did some backcountry flying in a tail dragger in some U.S. Forest Service airports in Oregon, and that was really cool. So, you know, my primary background, so I was an aircraft mechanic on the Apaches for the U.S. Army for 7 years, became a pilot, and then went and flew for a now defunct regional called Compass Airlines. That's where I got my E-Jet experience. And then after that, COVID shut my job down. I went and flew single pilot medevac on the King Air C-90B for Guardian flight based out of Sholo. So that's where my mountain time really started coming in. Did that for a year while I got my master's in aviation safety. He just kicked the kitty cam over again, didn't he? Yeah, once upon a time, mediocre CFI. And then I went over to Jetit while they were still in operation, and that's where I got my first type rating and single pilot rating on the Honda Jet. And then after about doing that for 9 months, I got the opportunity to go help Volato start up, and that was an amazing journey. I worked for and worked with a lot of amazing people, and unfortunately also saw 4 aircraft incidents / accidents occur. And then unfortunately they closed their doors. Then I went and flew around the world in a Lineage 1000E. Became the chief pilot for a 135 here based in Phoenix, and just about to start with a new organization, and I'm going to keep that one quiet for now. So, but there's kind of the runaround of experience. But are you MSFS only or X-Plane? No, I'm not on the Lineage anymore, Ryan. Downwind Sim, primarily Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I've tried to get into X-Plane, and it's not for me, man. I tend to be a little set in my ways. Some other varieties for the Sims are probably going to be Digital Combat Simulator and IL-2 Sturmovik, particularly with IL-2 Korea coming up. There's a steadfast group of guys that I've been friends with for years. Would like to have a good time and go shoot it up in VR. So, modern combat jets, props, the World War II flying's very fun. You really, yeah, there you go. What kind of VR headset are you using? Oh, Oculus. Yeah, I'm using the Meta Quest 3 right now. So, guys, we are off Coaldale, and our ground speed's starting to pick up. And then once we make the turn at Urine, I think we're going to get some more. And we're just 200 pounds shy, about 210 pounds shy of where we need to be. Once that reaches 500, I'm a happy camper. That's where I don't worry about the fuel anymore, because I know at 500 pounds I'm going to be able to get to where I need to go. I have declared min fuel once, and that was going from, I think this was either in an Elite or an Elite S. We did White Plains down to Tambiambi, maybe, or Opelika. I think it was Opelika. And typical South Florida winter flying. So New York was on a severe weather program, what they call a SWAP. And Ryan can talk a little bit more about that. I don't know if those come from the individual centers or if it's a TMU, Traffic Management Unit, which there's a big one in Washington, D.C. And then, yeah, you thought slow airplanes were the worst. But if you guys are familiar with where White Plains is, it's just north of Long Island. And They made us fly northeast, opposite direction, down low at 13,000 feet until we got to the other side of New York. And then they turned us around and finally started barely step climbing us up. And I had to watch the fuel. Once we got... now, Ryan, remind me. There's the big TMU in DC, but doesn't each center have its own dedicated TMU unit? Or is it all controlled from DC in the National Command Center? Okay. So, traffic management unit, more real world than it would be in the sim. But if you go and fly on big events in VATSIM, there will actually be a TMU guy up managing traffic, doing spins, in-trail spacing, holds, etc. 10 of you now, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you're just now joining the channel, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Feel free to pop your questions about the Honda Jet. No such thing as a silly one, and I will do my best to answer and or find the answer. So, as we got south of Jacksonville, Miami started giving us in-trail vectors. And after about the third one, I saw my fuel go below, and I had to declare min fuel. Test pilot live. Hey, just passed by. Came to say hi. We'll stay alert a bit. I see the mic issue solved. Good. Glad to hear that. DC is the ATC SCC, Air Traffic Control Systems Command Center, or just Command Center. They cover the whole country. Every center has their own TMU or traffic management unit. TMU knows the localized stuff, and the Command Center deals with the nationwide stuff. So there you have it for the TMU. And Miami decided to get into an argument with me one day, and he wanted to declare an emergency on my behalf, which I vehemently refused. There's a difference between emergency fuel and minimum fuel. Minimum fuel means any undue delay could lead to emergency fuel. Emergency fuel means get me on the ground right the F now. Minimum fuel just means stop playing around. So, in any case, landed. Did file an ASAP report about that. ASAP is real world, what they call Aviation Safety Action Program. And it's done wonders for aviation safety across the board. And those programs help us collectively get better. I'm not sure if air traffic control has something similar to that. But if they do, I hope everybody uses that system because it's a huge benefit to everybody. Everybody learns, everybody grows, and eventually it changes policy. So there you go. Excellent, Ryan. Really glad to hear that, man. Really glad to hear that. So ATSAP, Air Traffic Safety Action Program. Fantastic. So, now question for you. When you have to give a brasher, is that also a mandatory ATSAP report, or is that a completely different flow? Soup files a report. Cool. So, this is real world parlance. This is not for the sim. However, if you choose to use it, by all means, please do. When you get into higher altitudes, particularly above 35,000 feet or so, and you want to request higher, sometimes air traffic control will ask you if you can reach a certain altitude within X minutes or less. I will tell you from personal experience, above 39,000 feet, you don't have the smash and you don't have the energy that you think you do. And so if they ask you and they say, can you be at, I don't know, flight level 410 in 2 minutes or less? Going down, no problem. Coming up, different problem. But if I was on the horn with Ryan and he says, can you be at 430 in 2 minutes or less? I would have to say unable, because if you accept it, now you're beholden to it. And when you're beholden to it, that's your new clearance. Compliance is mandatory. And if not, the best words in the English language are unable. Now, air traffic control is going to moan, whine, and grumble. That's fine. They cannot fly your airplane for you. Okay? So, if you can't do it, just say so. Don't try and be a hero. All right. We're now making the turn to Yaren, or off of Yaren, and now we're going to Moxie. Moxie's 300 miles away. We're about an hour out, so I'd say we're about an hour and a half out. This stuff has caused me a lot of issues in my high altitude training. Coming from the approach where everyone has a ton of energy, you can top people so easily. Up high, they're flying over the ground faster but climbing slower. It looks like you can top someone, but you can't. Crash, what's up, man? Welcome to the channel. Hopefully things have stabilized a little bit for you. Yeah, the high altitude stuff, it's a weird environment, man. It's definitely different than down below, that's for sure. So, right now we're doing good. Our fuel numbers are coming back up. Now that we're out of the wind, this has now become more of a crosswind. You can see our ground speed starting to go up. I would much rather hear a sorry I can't make it than yeah I can make that and then you don't. Yeah, and there's plenty of times where I've said, look guys, I don't think I could do it. And they're like, okay, yeah, expect your climb at about 10 miles. You know, you're gonna have cross through traffic at flight level 400, whatever. So now another thing that I see wrong: fuel oil heat exchangers. The fuel temperature in the airplane is probably going to be in between +2 to -4. I've never seen it get colder than -5. And the fuel oil heat exchanger, right? As you have the engine burning that hot oil, right? That's lubricating all the bearings and all the moving parts of the engines. Well, you have cold fuel. Cold jet fuel actually turns into gel. So you run... It's a really ingenious kind of loop that looks more or less like this, where the hot oil goes through the cold fuel. That cools the oil as it goes back in to avoid an oil over temp, right? So right now the oil is at 54 and the fuel should be at +4. They should even each other out, right? And so it's a perfectly harmonized loop. And it's the same thing with the air intakes. So superheated air coming off of the bleeds, mixing with that super cold air, there's a mixer in there that just changes the temperature for you. And that's how we harmonize the environmental conditions up at altitude. Let's see what else here. Yeah, this fuel flow is staying steady. Are you providing feedback to the developer this month? Downwind Sim, yes I am. Actually, I was the SME that helped develop this. I flew the initial release for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is the first time I'm flying it in 2024 with the updated model and quality of life things. So, in fact, so this is Rufus, and in case anybody's wondering how to find it, ooh. I don't know if this is a reflection or if this is ice and frost buildup, which is very common. Probably will get it on this side because we're in the sun, but this side would start to ice up in the cold. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, man. And this too wouldn't be as reflective from this side. This is more of a matte finish up here. It wouldn't be as reflective. That's why it's black. But if you click here on the center console, you got Rufus. And if you're wondering who Rufus is, Downwind Sim, here's the actual guy. So that's Rufus. XP added that fuel oil heat exchange code recently. Fun mascot Easter egg. Yeah, it is. It's some just a little good luck charm, little memento, going to where we need to go. So, obviously not as much air traffic control online right now. I was hoping we'd have more, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get some going into Portland. So, again, if you're brand new to the channel, please like. If you feel so inclined, subscribe. This isn't going to be the first one that we do with the Honda Jet. I know Marwan's working very diligently to address a lot of these issues. And now we can tweak a little bit more and turn this into something else. So, yeah. The return leg will be from Portland back to Las Vegas. Hopefully the winds are where we're going to want them to be, and then you can see what this is like having a tailwind and what it's capable of doing. But I'll be doing product reviews, scenery reviews, things that you typically don't see. I mean, how many different streams do you see out there? These big transport liners going and doing X, going and doing Y. How many are actually using pilotage and navigation? How many people are going to the backcountry airports? You guys can reference an earlier stream where I did some Idaho backcountry flying. And, you know, maybe later on this week, I'll be able to bring it back. So, but there's also a fishing module. And what I may try and do is take a Grumman Goose and fish off the airplane. Sounds good, Delvin Sim. Appreciate it. So just trying various different things, and do things that typically aren't possible for the real world. And what I think Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 really does is it expands what you're able to do and how you're able to do it. You know, you get to do some of these cool approaches into Mykonos or into Innsbruck, Austria, which is just a phenomenally beautiful area. Get to go check out the fjords up in Norway. Stuff up in northern Alaska. Like, so many different cool things that you could get and do. And so when I get something like this where it's like, okay, you know, I've spent several hundred hours in the actual airplane, know it inside and out, its quirks, it's not so fun quirks, etc. Yeah, it's pretty cool just to see how far sims have come. First flight simulator I ever messed with was FS98, and if you really want to measure of how old I am, mixed field was still a thing out there in Chicago until it got turned into a park. So for those of you that are old school simmers, you all know mixed field. So yeah. And short. Yeah. Healed. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Before you know, the Sims will look better than real life. Yeah, that could be. That could be. We'll have to see. I'm going to check this whisper message real fast. So I apologize, friends. Bear with me real fast. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What other questions you guys have about the Honda? What have I not covered? Flight Simulator 2 on the C64 is where you started. Dang, you're definitely outpacing me on the age thing. Definitely outpacing me on the age thing. 11 viewers now. Welcome. Thank you. Were you saying the fuel temp usually sits around -5 and not 35? Yes, I was. There's fuel oil heat exchangers. So that fuel would not be that cold in real life. Those fuel oil heat exchangers are, they do a really good job. I think the coldest I've ever seen it is -4, -5. Iowa Scotsman, hello. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you being here. In fact, I want to see something here. Okay, so that is accurate. Center tank is spilled out into the collector box tanks. Yeah, no pressed. You are always negative pressed, sir. Yep, always negative pressed. And like I said, man, James, if you follow my channel on Twitch, there is a link to the Discord. I would recommend that you join it and send me a message. My actual Discord name is Guns. You may have seen that come up in the chat a little bit. Feel free to send me a message. And I'll, whatever questions you have, real world or not, just let me know. So happy to help, man. Happy to help. I just want you to be safe and to enjoy flying the airplane. Because when you start to figure it out, it's actually a very rewarding airplane. When Mr. Fujino designed the Honda, right, it was meant to be an owner-operated airplane. Again, a rule of thumb, 2 pilots, 2 people, 200 pounds of bags, 2-hour flight, or even single pilot. 2-hour flight, this is a little bit longer because of the winds. Almost unbeatable as far as time capability is concerned. Turboprops weren't as fast. Big jetliners weren't as cheap. So Honda really hit the nail on the head. Anything outside of that, you start getting a principle of diminishing returns. Again, weaknesses are happening from the anemic handling characteristics of the braking system and the anti-skid and the nose wheel steering. Tiny tires, narrow wheelbase on a small wing. Therein lies the problems. But everything that you guys are seeing me do, I'd be doing in the real airplane right now. This is nothing different, right? So I have the speed set in manual right now. And as you can see, we've topped out at 195 Mach 7.0. And even if I were to put them up here, see, this is wanting to push us up to 7.1. 7.3. You know, in any case, pretty faithfully redone or done creation here in the sim. Again, these field numbers are inaccurate up here. It significantly drops off. Doing 0.85 in the G5. Show off. Yeah, it's about 220 a side. I think it's like 440, 450 a side. The good news is this number's coming up, and I bet you as we start to descend into Oregon, this number's going to jump up. As long as it comes in over 500, I'm happy. Even this, just for the purposes of education in the stream, I'm going to continue as is. But, yeah, I'd say the fuel numbers need a little bit of tweaking. So, but I'm burning 1,200 per side. Yeah. So we'll go back into manual speed. So what other Honda questions do you have? What more can I show you? What's the ceiling on this? Flight level 430. This is the highest the airplane can go. So that is the max service ceiling. Do you ever get to pick one up and see the factory? So I actually knew one of the factory delivery pilots. And that was, keep his name anonymous for now. But yes, I have been there. Yeah, they can't go up to 45. Probably something with the wing. You guys have to remember that this is Honda's first iteration of an airplane. There's only so much that they could do. I'm trying to remember when development started on this thing. I think it was 2008. And it's already had 5 variants since it came out. 2004. There you go. McFly, Avi. It's Mike. Mike are his initials. You probably know who I'm talking about. And if you're hearing a little bell jingle in the background, Did you get your Honda Jet job for the one Honda Jet? No, I did not. Okay, Big Fly, then you know who I'm talking about. No, I got the Honda Jet job from something else, Ryan. So, hopefully in a good way. So yeah. All right. Let's start getting configured for the arrival here. And I'm actually going to use this so you guys can see better. I wish I had bigger charts, but I don't, unfortunately. PDX enter. So we are coming in on the Timbers 3 RNAV. Let's see this. We're coming off of Moxie. So, and I'll show you guys, I'll explain the VNAV system in depth as we get down to, so it doesn't put you guys in a lurch. So, we're direct Moxie off of Urine right now. All of the delivery and corporate guys are great dudes. Yes, they are. Phenomenal people. So, if we look at Moxie, what does Moxie say here? At or above flight level 240. That checks. Portal. At 270 knots, below 24, above 16. That's correct. Timbers, at or below, or at or above 12 at 270. At or above 12 at 270. Then we have Vance. Below 15, above 11. Below 15, above 11, 250 knots. And then as we come up here to Flower, below 9, above 7. Below 9, above 7. Then we go to Full, below 9, above 7. That checks. Sail, below 8, above 6. Then we have B Brew. And then we have Pub, at or above 5,000. This is a flyover waypoint. And this is for 10 left. So we'll go fly on a heading at 281, and then we'll manually vector in for the ILS runway 10 left. So let's go ahead and look at that approach now. 103 is our final approach course. We're coming in from the northwest, landing east. And our final approach fix altitude is 2,000 at Blazer. All right, got to head out for the night. It's food time. I did get in your Discord, so I'll be seeing you around. Great stream and nice chatting with you. Hey, man, thank you for being here. Appreciate the follow. Hopefully I was able to give you some solid information. So appreciate you being here. Thanks for hanging out and chatting with us. We'll see you on the next stream. All right. Blazer, and then our minimums are actually going to be at 293. See ya! So the ILS is not loaded yet. ILS 10 left. We will do vectors because there is no, actually, Buxom. You know what? We could do it out of Buxom maybe. Yeah, we'll do it out of Buxom for now. 293 feet. Here's a cool thing. When we actually spin into, okay, so warning, load. Do not activate. If you activate, you're going to be causing yourself a whole ton of problems because now the airplane's going to want to go and fly the arrival. Just load it. GPS guidance for monitoring only. Load approach. Now, this should have a preview needle on it, and I'll point that out to you as we get into Portland. So, but we're moving right along right now. And see, our fuel is still a little bit off from what it needs to be. But again, I compensate it from these numbers. So now we're all configured for the approach based on the current information. And then taxi. What I said, this is going to be the easiest taxi ever. We're landing 10 left, and Atlantic Aviation is right over here. GA terminal and parking. So we're going to plan to exit Alpha 4 or Alpha 3, right-hand turn, right into the GA terminal and parking. So, any questions on that? Right now, 320 6 miles visibility, light rain, mist, broken at 37, overcast 47, temperature 6, 2.5, altimeter 3011. Love the short taxis. Likewise, man. And if we're not going fast, right? You know what that means. Rental car standing by. Yeah, maybe. Now, the one thing I don't see on here... Ah, there it is. Weather radar. So, you have this. This is the Connects. This is with Garmin. Define coverage. Yeah, so this page isn't working. And this is just going based off weather. Maybe one of these days it'll actually pull it up. However, this is the weather radar. Here's how you turn it on. You click on weather radar. Radar on. And then I would also recommend a bearing line. Display mode. Right? So we'll start messing with this as we get closer to Portland. And hopefully that'll start showing us. Hey, Portland ground's on. So that's a plus. But that's how you turn the weather radar on the G3000. And if you guys have noticed, VNav has started to populate. So, and again, this is user preference. I personally don't use the vertical situation display. I'm going to show you how I do it so you can understand. Now, what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to change my cross pointer back to the V-bar. Again, I know there was somebody in the FFX Discord that was asking how to change that. And I'm going to change it back to single quay because I like this single quay. And that's the V-bars here. So, the other way that you could use... God damn it. Did it again. Hang on, I'll come over here. Home, map settings. Again, inset window. So this is what I like to use because this gives me the most information that I need relative to my flight. Fuel over destination, how much I'm going to land with, etc. Leg. Does that change our fuel over destination? No, it does not. Okay. Cumulative. Now we go to the vertical situation display. This will actively reflect your VNav crossing restraints as we go in there. This little window right here is explaining the exact same information, but you're also going to have your cues pop up over here in the PFD. So when we get into that, I will start explaining that to you and how that works as we get moving. But for right now, I'm going to go back to this. And I'll bounce back and forth during the descent so you guys can see it. So, PDX. Let's go back to charts. Approach. I want the ILS up for... Actually, no. We'll just use the star for now. Just to have a reference. And there we go. We're starting to see cloud coverage, which is accurate to the weather reporting. You know, that's always a plus when your weather program actually starts to show clouds and where we have it. So, yeah. Cheers to that, boys and girls. Okay, James, this one's for you. So remember how I told you at a certain quantity the yellow fuel lights would light up? You'll actually see it in here when we hit that. Okay, get down. Sorry. Does everybody know what a Maine Coon is? Give me just a second. buddy. Come on. There we go. Hi. So this is Hades. This is my giant ball of fluff. He's my co-pilot. He is a 10-month-old Maine Coon purebred cat. Obviously, he's not enjoying the attention as much as we thought he would. I know. Say hi. There you go. Hades said hello. Back from the ad. Oh, of course, there was an ad right as I had my cat up for everybody to see. Go figure. Before takeoff, does the pitch trim setting need to be calculated, or is it just in case of a setting of the green band every time? Ad. Yeah, I know. Well, if you're a subscriber, the ads go away. Unfortunately, I don't get a heads up when the ads are rolling, so I apologize about that. I've got to look into Streamlabs to see if it'll give me a heads up that one's about to roll. James, to answer your question, are you going to be using ForeFlight? Or are you going to be using APG for your performance calculator? Did ForeFlight ever get bought by Papa Echo? Yes, sir, ForeFlight. Okay. I'll give you the details for you about ForeFlight, but ForeFlight will give you private equity. I know Boeing sold it off. I don't know who bought it. So, James, to answer your question, for your aircraft, if you don't already have ForeFlight dispatch, I would highly recommend getting it. Several reasons. Number one, filing's a breeze. If you have an iPad with a 5G signal, even easier. Everything's right there in the box. And then there's also a RWA runway analysis. You could set up your entire ForeFlight weight and balance in there. There's already pre-made profiles. You just have to put your zero fuel weight and CG in there. Configure it and tailor it to your liking. It'll give you the trim setting. Does it have to be nuts on? No. I just had it set at a particular space because I could. And honestly, it hasn't moved that much from when we took off. You can see it bounced around right now. And then look at that. Landing field elevation populated finally. See how it's in magenta? So, but the ForeFlight RWA will work really, really well. And again, if you're working for a charter company, you have the ability to save things to the flight package, such as your weight and balance and performance calculations. And so, yeah. You have that capability. So, and then the cool thing is too, is that I don't know if it's modeled in here, but under utilities, setup, you'd have a button here for something called Garmin Connects. You've probably seen it in the G3000, but that's Bluetooth capability right to ForeFlight. Send flight plan to console. And then under flight plan options, you'd see a secondary, activate secondary flight plan, right? So that's how I did it in the real world. I know that there was a earlier review of the Honda earlier this week where somebody went in and manually hand jammed the flight plan. But taking it for ForeFlight, spitting it in, The only thing ForeFlight won't do is give you the runway and the departure procedure. Ooh, we're going to have approach up too. Sweet. Let's see here. Quest controller info. 8 is Tango, 300 at 6. Ah, shit. Alright, well, runways change in progress, friends. Damn. Now we've got a longer taxi. So, this is the other thing about the G3000. If you're going to change runways, double check that you make sure you set your arrival up correctly. We're going to load that. We're direct to Moxie. This shouldn't be doing what it's doing right now. VNAV is still correct for what it needs to be doing. Okay, and then I go back under procedure and put 28 right. We'll be doing vectors. What's up, doofus? Hey, thanks for the subscription, amigo. Welcome to the Honda. Alright, so we go in here. Flower remains the same. So we know that everything at Flower is the same. What we're going to do now is go into flight plan. Scroll down to Flower. There it is, Flower. And then we go to Roach at 4,000, and then it's a right-hand turn. I'm a Toyota guy. Thanks, though. Funny guy. So, 210 at 4,000 at Roche. There it is, 4,000 at 210 knots. ILS 28 right. Let's go in here and take a look at that approach. Minimums for this approach now are going down to 281 feet. 281. Enter. Now we're going to load that. GPS is not approved. We know this. And again, I'll show you guys the preview needle as we come in. So we're almost at Moxie, about 20 minutes out from top of descent. And this is a good time, about 20 minutes out. It's a good time to pull the weather. Calculate your speeds. Brief the approach, brief the arrival. Get prepared as much as possible because things are going to start to happen fast once the descent starts. And that's why I really like this window. And again, I will change between this window that I have up right now because it's the only one that I like. And then I'll point out what's showing you, what's going to be shown on the PFD relative to your VNAV. And I'm going to show you another trick. Ooh, the weather radar just started populating. You guys see that now? That's pretty freaking cool. We're now coming up towards Klamath Falls. But let's go in and make sure our speeds are set. Flap speeds, 190, flaps full. We need to go to speed bugs landing, all on. Then we're going to get these from sim, all on. So, real airplane, these are all automatic, and these won't start to populate until you cross below 18,000 feet. Again, I understand that working title is the source code here, so it's kind of the limitation of what we're working with. Again, I'm just pointing out what the real aircraft would do. This isn't a dig at Marwan or anything like that. Again, he's done a phenomenal job with the airplane. So, now I'll head back over here. And again, just pressing this scroll wheel right here brings up your checklist. Landing field elevation, verify set, magenta number. Hit that button right there. Engine anti-ice as required. We're not going to need that until we get down low, and then the altimeters will get when we get lower. So hold on the rest of the checklist for right now. And as you can see, our fuel over destination is starting to come up. Do we want to start a poll? Let's see here. Let me try and do something here in the chat. Indeed, there's tons of things to do to make all this work in the sim. He's done a great job. Yes, hands down. He's probably one of the more awesome people that I really love working with. New poll. What? Fuel. Hang on, let me make a poll here, guys. Over 500 pounds. 500 on the dot. Between 500 and 400. Less than 400. Okay. I want the... We'll go for 10 minutes. Start poll. Poll created. All right. Excellent. 800 foot per minute touchdown, huh? Well, if I had that actual stream bot up, you'd be able to do that. There's 12 of you on here right now. Thank you very much for being here. People returning. Cheers. And Jarhead, remind me I have to ask you if you know somebody. I'm going to text you here. All right, almost there, top of the set, and I'm glad we're actually going to have approach on tonight. This will be good. This will be good. As far as the taxi's concerned, joined your Discord, love the beaver pics. Is that in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Yes, sir, it is. Yep, that's all in 2024. That's the Parallel 42 campout utility. And one of the things that we'll be doing, so I'm thinking that... one of the things I think we'll be doing is here in the not too distant future, we're going to be going up Mount Everest. We're going to do a flight from Kathmandu to Lukla in the DHC-6 Twin Otter. And then we're going to fly a helicopter from Lukla up to base camp. And then eventually we're going to summit. And we're going to see the world from Mount Everest. Again, a lot of stuff that we probably won't be able to do in our lifetimes. But I can guarantee you it's going to be super cool for us to do in the sim. We might do a Formula One series where we go to the different cities that Formula One's going into and just fly around and check out the sights and scenery and talk about the points of interest, the history of the track. You know, one of the ones I'm really looking forward to do is doing Austin, Circuit of the Americas. It really brought Formula One onto the forefront for Americans. And, you know, obviously, as you can see, I'm wearing my Red Bull hat. Not because I'm a fan of Red Bull Oracle Racing, but because I am a big fan of Max Verstappen. That man is an absolute warrior monk when it comes to driving. He loves the sport. So, but anyways, James, Parallel 42 also has a fishing utility where you can go anywhere in the world where there's water and you can go fishing. So what I want to do is, I'm from a town in the northwest of the United States called Anacortes. And that is in the Puget Sound. Hang on, guys. Kitty cam. Come on. There he is. He's up there on his lofty perch. A lot of salmon fishing out there. So I want to take a grub and goose from my hometown airport. We'll go find a spot near one of the islands and just go fishing for salmon. You know? Or maybe we go down to the Keys when MK Studios releases Key West. And we'll go out there for some marlin or something like that. Like, Flight Sim is cool. At least Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. They really changed the genre from just being specific where you were only limited to the cockpit in previous iterations of the sim. 2020 didn't give you the ability to walk around unless you had an add-on. MSFX, P3D, etc. You really didn't have the capabilities that we do now. And just, I'm excited to see. Shout out to the fine guys at Active Sky. I did get an answer as to why thunderstorms are capped at a low level. And they're actually going to be trying to work with Microsoft to avoid the cap and bring the thunderstorms up to higher altitudes, which is really going to change the fidelity of the sim and what it's capable of producing. For those of you that are just joining, this will be cross-posted on YouTube for everybody's enjoyment. So if you missed the stream today, missed the important parts, it will be on YouTube. People will be able to watch it, and hopefully we'll see what you guys think about it. If you like this style of format, we can do this with other airplanes, and you get my thoughts and opinions based on my experience. So anyways, rant over. All right, so let's talk about the VNAV and what's going to happen as we get closer. So right now we're about 9 minutes out. At 1 minute prior to top of descent, you're going to get a chime, and it's going to say vertical track alert or vertical track right here. And you're going to get a magenta magenta diamond that looks similar to a glide slope indication. And as you hit this profile, that diamond is going to start to drop. If we have VNAV armed, right, it's going to follow it. Now, if we get high somewhere, or if air traffic control holds us up, like Portland Approach is going to hold us up high, I'm going to show you guys how to do what's called a vertical direct to. So just like we could do a lateral direct to, there's a vertical direct to. So if he says cross Moxie at flight level 240 instead of at above, I'll show you guys how to do that right now. We go in here, we look at Moxie, and you can do above, at or below, between. I'm not going to set it, but that's your vertical direct to. And as you can see here, that's what that VNAV direct does. And the VNAV systems on the G3000 are more than capable of doing it. More than capable of doing it. Over here with the weather radar. So the gain's all set. See if I remember my controls here. That's range. Yeah, that's range. Oh my God, let me see here. Nope, that's calm. That's calm. Okay, so let's see. No, it won't let me do it. Okay. Cat blocking view. What do you mean blocking? Oh, shit. That's important. This button here would allow you to change the tilt on the radar. And the reason why you need to be able to change the tilt, the system's highly automated, but it's only good as the person using it. As I like to say, garbage in, garbage out. Well, if I don't want to see the bad weather, I'll just point that thing 15 degrees nose up, and then I'll just be like, oh, it was clear to 1,000,000 as we're chopping a thunderstorm of 43,000 feet. Bad news bears, right? We don't want to do that. And what I might do, just so the cat isn't blocking the view. You guys like the kitty cam? I'm going to throw him over here. Freaking big old floofy tail. Good grief, cat. So, yeah, you've got to change the tilt. Now, on the Elite 2, it does have an auto tilt feature. It's a 16 color multi-scan radar. So current radars on military fighters have something called AESA, actively electronically scanned array or something like that, where it's no moving parts. Well, there may be moving parts, but it's a whole nother level of radar. I don't want to get too far into the specifics because I definitely won't be able to speak as not intelligible on it. But what I can tell you is that the weather radars are kind of going in a very similar direction rather than just Doppler pulse. So it gives you a much better definition in scan. And then another cool thing is there's a vertical mode to this. So if you're wondering if you're going to top something, I really wish there was weather out here. If you wanted to know if you were going to top something, this is relative to your altitude. So this has a floor of 13,000 and a ceiling of 73,000 feet. So if you're wondering if there's a thunderstorm in front of you, you just look at this vertical view and you'd be like, nope, not going to top that. We're going to change. Obviously, the imaginary horizontal line is your current altitude of 43,000 feet. So, pretty dang cool what this weather radar could do. I usually just use this mode. I'll give you an example of why I use this mode. Flying from somewhere up north, probably Teterboro, down south end of Florida. And if you're not familiar with the Florida area, there's a lot of military airspace out there. And one day they were giving us vectors around because military airspace had opened us up, and they were going to shoot us down the gap from Savannah straight down to the south tip of Florida, so the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. And the only reason I knew we had done it is there's a big old bird bomb right here. The bird bomb was there, and as we're turning, I had nothing painted. And as we turned, I heard the pattering of rain on the windscreen. I saw our ISA shoot up, and about a nasty little bump, and then about 3 seconds later, that bird bomb was gone. So either we hit ice or we hit rain up at altitude, and let me tell you, that catches your attention real quick. So again, limitations of the weather radar. There's only so much that you can do with it. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Okay, guys. I'm going to dial down our altitude. So for VNAV, you're going to do what's called a VNAV-V. You're going to go down to your flight plan. We're going to go to our bottom altitude of 4,000 feet, which I'm setting right now. And in reality, center would be telling you, hey, descend and maintain flight level 380. Descend and maintain flight level 320. And since we're coming from all the way up here, this is as good as time as ever to show you. I'm now going to hit the VNAV button. And again, there is no indicator light on the real MCP panel. All right, so VNAV is now armed. We're coming down at a 3.5 degree angle, starting in about 2 minutes, and about 54 seconds from now, we're going to get a vertical track alert. It'll be a chime, and then we'll start down. So the VNAV V, set your altitude, 4,000, verify the bottom end of the arrival, and then come up here and make sure that 4,000 is set, and then you're going to want the white path, which is the standby mode, and then this little V stands for VNAV. So that's your VNAV V. And that's how you avoid virtual brasher warnings. Excuse me. Nope, didn't want to zoom the range in that far. Was everybody able to see the poll at all? Let's see what the poll says. Poll ended 4 minutes ago. Create poll. View results. Nobody voted on it. Ooh! And Seattle Center just clicked on. Shit. 135,450. Okay, we didn't get the chime, so that's another thing. So, damn. Seattle Center, good afternoon. Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha is at a flight level 430 and literally just about to start our descent. Okay, there's the descent. Seattle Center, Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha. Gonna start pulling the throttle back. Okay, so now we're overspeeding. We're gonna adjust. Okay. Seattle Center says he's having difficulty. And Seattle Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha out of flight level 407 descending via the Timbers 5. It's not on my end. All right. Apparently Seattle is saying, yeah, the radio's on, dingus. That's it right there. COM 1. Mic's on. 100% volume. Seattle Center, Honda Jet 0 Hotel Alpha. Probably, but we'll see. So as we keep descending, I'm going to keep spinning it up. Common radios. Yeah, that's COM 1. So as we keep descending, our indicated airspeed is actually going to go up. So we're going to start accelerating. But I am going to keep it true to life within the actual airspeed of the jet and not try and go above that. Let me try and reconnect here and see if that does anything. 13545. Seattle Center, Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha. Oh, let's see here. Got a wave 3. And got a wave 3. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Seattle here, guys. Seattle Center's online, but they're not receiving. One, 3, 5, 4, 5, 0. Seattle Center Honda 420 Hotel Alpha radio check. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. In any case, I don't know why it just went to that. Apologies about that. Run as administrator. Tax return folder on my desktop, huh? Yeah, funny guy.
Okay, test information, uniform 0.
There it goes. Seattle Honda 420 Hotel Alpha.
November 420 Hotel Alpha, Seattle Center.
Okay, yeah, don't know what happened there. It seems like the audio just randomly dropped off. We were fine with LA Center earlier, so we're back, descending via the Timbers 3, landing west, altimeter 3009, and we do have ATIS information uniform.
Thank you.
Citation may 10 which Romeo has to get on board for Seattle.
A10 Whiskey Romeo, thank you.
So again, we're going to keep speeding up as we get closer, and again, 270 is about where we want to be. So I promised that I would show you the other inset, and here we go. Inset window. Oh, now she just said vertical track. I don't know if you heard that, but here's that vertical track. You have your gates that you need to be at. It has your above or below. Kind of similar. If there was terrain, it'd be showing here. I just use this guy right here. It's easier for me. So this tells me what the desired track is, and this tells me what that rate should be. So again, just my personal opinions. That's the nice thing about the G3000 is it's fully customized to whatever you want to do. All right, and it's now saying we're going to land with 420 pounds of fuel. I don't know if you guys were able to see the pole.
In Alaska 341, you can delete the speed.
But that pole,
instead of maintain 6,000.
that pole was asking how much fuel you think I was going to land with. Either above 500, 500 on the dot, between 500 and 400, or nothing. So I got to see why that didn't pop up in chat. But we'll figure it out. All right, we're gonna go back to this.
Contact 50 to the south, so Yakima, welcome.
And just keep our descent going. Center used NextRad, so our weather is also delayed. Tricons, do you have up-to-date weather since I can pull off? Oh, weird. Are you guys actually on NextRad now instead of Warp? Because I thought you guys were still using the Warp displays out there. Okay. So, NextRad. It's not used in here, but this airplane is capable of getting NextRad weather. NextRad's great, but it's got a delay of anywhere from 2 to 15 minutes. And when you're doing 400 plus knots, a lot can change. And there, our weather just populated. So for ease of use, I'm going to go in here, sensor, and turn the current radar off. Because I should start to see it over here on the left-hand side. Overspeeding. And that's another thing when you're single pilot, if you're not paying attention, you can get yourself in trouble really, really quickly. And this is really that finicky on the descent. There is no set it and forget it. Which I wish we could, but the auto throttles will solve that too. And if you didn't see it, read the chat right above the NextRad one. Washing dishes are going over weather radar. ATC weather radar. Yeah. Nope. Absolutely. There will be times when I'm out there flying and ATC will point out that there's weather ahead and I'm looking and it's clear in a million. Or vice versa, I'm telling them that I am seeing something big and nasty right in front of me and I don't want to touch it. And they're like, we're not showing anything. So here's the puffy clouds that are starting to show up. Again, remember, anytime you go through any sort of precip, you will have some form of turbulence. I'm getting really tired of overspeeding here, so I'm going to keep it at about 265 right now. Permanent false returns in one of the sectors. Interesting. Yeah, I've gotten false returns from bug splats on the radome before, so it doesn't surprise me.
Nope. 420 Hotel Alpha, contact Portland approach 118.1.
Portland approach 118.1. Good day, 0 Hotel Alpha. Portland approach, good evening. Honda Jet 420 Hotel Alpha, flight level 210 to city via the Timbers 3. We have uniform.
Honda Jet 420.
Traffic with Eric, 91.
Good evening. You can expect ILS runway 28 left.
Okay, expect ILS runway 28 left. Like to put 28 right on request for 420 Hotel Alpha.
420 Hotel Alpha, yeah, I can do 28 right. Not a problem.
Okay, we'll expect 28 right, 420 Hotel Alpha. James, to answer, the CSC button is not on here or modeled. And the CSC would actually, I believe, on the real Honda would be where the auto throttle is. Permanent black spots in his eyes from staring at the sun. Yeah, it's hazardous to your health there, big dog. Okay, so now I'm going to set this into FMS speeds because this is going to tell me when I need to decelerate. That is one thing about this airplane. You can decelerate super quickly.
Traffic, Southwest 671, crossing Devlay via the Canfor Arna Point traffic.
Aircraft calling Portland approach. You were kind of broken. Can you repeat that?
All right, and the altimeter right now in Portlandia is 3009. So we'll set our altimeters 3009. And there you have it. and that's how we set them. 3009. Scroll through and go to the next checklist. So I'll do my approach at 10,000 feet. So that's what I'll go through here. So descent, you finish up coming through 18. Approach, you finish up going through 10. And you want to fly on cue and on the arrival. We are at 510 pounds. So I have a feeling this actual number is going to be accurate, but it's all dependent on how fast we have to keep going. But again, the higher level numbers at 43 were way too high. So they were burning about 340, 350 a side. It should be lowered to 220. All right, so now we have our deceleration, 250 knots advance. I seem to remember that newer versions of G3000 will actually put these crossing restrictions here on the screen for you. And if you notice, I'm not pulling off the throttle, but we are decaying speed very quickly. This is common in a high aspect wing. That's very common on the Honda Jet. So otherwise known as a flat wing. It almost has the same wing plan form as a King Air. Very similar, in fact. Very low sweep. So there's 250 knots. And that definitely looks like a rain and haze layer right there. See if we can see Mount Hood today. Nope, and it's already getting into the 6 miles visibility. But very, very, very beautiful model. I mean, just look at that right now. Reflections are on point for a glossy airplane. And again, Rex Atmos. And I can give you the recommended settings of what I'm using. And then below 18, the landing lights, which are not turning on. They should be on. Maybe it's just at night. I can't remember. And then our we should be having white lights over here. But these guys should be turning on at a certain point. So let's be watching for that. Just so we have that. And again, we'll go over to aircraft systems and find out. Home, aircraft systems, status. So nav, beacon, strobe, recog lights. So the recog lights, it's hard to tell in the lighting. Those are the wingtip lights that should be on. And then let's see, 10,000 feet. Maybe they won't pop on until the gear are down. I'm gonna look at that. But all this stuff is automatic. I shouldn't have to be putzing with it all that much. Hey, look at that. Low fuel quantity. I knew that was coming. Now, that's a little high for the low fuel quantity to come on. But maybe it only came on because I set a reserve at 500. Oh yeah, look at this layer. Perfect. Okay, engine any ice on. Temperature plus 10 to...
Honda Jet 0 Hotel Alpha, you can descend maintain 4,000.
So maintain 4,000, 0 Hotel Alpha. Alright, now we're going to come off of VNAV. And, or you know what? We could stay on VNAV. It's taking us down to 4,000. So we're through the cloud layer there. Transition was a little weird. Probably just the capability of my graphics card there. And there's the rain. So it is raining right now. But plus 10 through minus 35. RVR 5,000 and below. Engine anti-ice comes on. We are a little slow right now. So let's see how far out he's going to turn us. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Mount Hood today. So I apologize. Ooh, I wonder if these guys actually... Yeah. There we go. That's handy. Yeah, and you can slide it. Perfect. All right. And now we're coming into the clouds. Six miles visibility. It won't be as bad as the forecast was predicting it to be. Showing 1 3/4 mile visibility and rain at the airport earlier today when I was getting ready to do it. So that is one thing that I wish could get fixed, is when you're coming through later, you should not have shadows like this, especially not when it's raining. All right, we're going to slow to 210. And again, these weren't always in blue. These were usually in white, and I don't remember the modes being told there. Yeah, go figure. Well, if you use Twitch to subscribe there, Cloudy, you wouldn't have ads. Amazon Prime, buddy. Alright, we can flip this up now. It's not going to be that... Can I flip it up? I don't know if I can flip it up. The guys, we have a problem. Oh, there we go. You just got to pull it all the way back. Alright, so now we're on that outbound turn. Now, in the real G3000, so VNAV's going to come off because we're at the bottom end of the altitude. And the real G3000, this will go on for forever. So it'll keep doing it as much as you want it to.
On a jet 0 Hotel Alpha, reduce speed 190, then turn left heading 010.
Okay, slow to 190 and then turn left heading. Was that 290?
Honda Jet 0 Hotel Alpha, reduce speed 190, then turn left heading 010.
Ah, all right. Slow to 190 and then turn left heading 010. 420 Hotel Alpha.
I wasn't sure if you heard me the first time. I never got a reply. So.
No, that's okay for 0 Hotel Alpha. You're all good. Okay, cool. So he's given us a vector. Here's what we're going to do with the procedure. Yeah, remembering is hard. Yeah, well, stage fright, boys. Okay, procedure. I'm going to activate vectors to final. Okay, this is now going to take us out of magenta needles, and it's now going to put us in green needles. So I didn't get to show you the preview needles, so I'm sorry about that, y'all, but here we are.
0 Hotel Alpha, you can set and maintain 3000.
So maintain 3000, 0 Hotel Alpha. So 3000. Get down
Zero
quick.
Hotel Alpha, you are 7 miles from toe lock. Turn left heading 310. Maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS, runway 28 right approach.
Okay, left turn heading 310. Maintain 3000 is still until established. And clear for the ILS 28 right approach, 0 Hotel Alpha. Okay, let's start knocking some checklist items out.
0 Hotel Alpha, maintain 170 knots until toe lock.
Okay, maintain 170 knots until toe lock, 0 Hotel Alpha. He must have traffic coming in front of me, trying to slow us down a little bit. Okay, flaps are coming in. Anti-ice is off. Passenger briefing is complete. Cabin signs are done. Avionics are set. Landing data is set. Confirmed. Cast messages checked. Approach brief is complete. Flaps are done. Now we have before landing. So, I just hit approach. And you can already see we're below glide or above glide path.
On a jet, 0 Hotel Alpha winds 270 at 5, runway 28 right, clear to land.
270 at 5, runway 28 right, clear to land, 0 Hotel Alpha. So it's just captured the loc. Now let's see if we could get it to capture the glide path. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you guys. So you could spin your altimeter or altitude select knob. Oh, it won't do it. Damn. It should spin it all the way down to your approach minimums, believe it or not. So that's okay. That's fine. We'll come down to 113. There it is. Glide slopes captured. 113. Glide slopes captured. Gear down. Turn it on. Turn what on?
2000.
Oh, son of a bitch. It did it again.
$1,000.
Oh boy. Below 150, flaps full. Okay, I don't know why this is not giving me the... Hang on. There we go. Full map. Boom. Okay. Well, yeah, that rain's coming down. So, unfortunately, because this happened so quick, I wasn't able to show you guys what a good stable approach should be like. You want to come in between 51 and 55% in 1, and that'll keep you stable. You won't have as much autopilot's off. Yaw damper is away. Yaw damper must be off for takeoff and landing.
Minimums.
Runway in sight, landing.
200.
Okay. Throttle to idle. You want to wait until you're about 15 feet to start your flare. Otherwise, you'll over-rotate it. And there it is. we're down 3 seconds before the weight on wheels. Now this isn't going to show it, so I'm going to kind of simulate it with the amount of braking pressure, but I wouldn't even start having activated brakes until right about here. Again, wet runway, it's very finicky on the Honda.
Honda Jet 0 Hotel Alpha, I take it you're parking at General Aviation?
That's affirmative for 0 Hotel Alpha.
0 Hotel Alpha, just take a left on Alpha, all the way up to GA parking. You can go in either Whiskey or Alpha 3.
Okay, left turn on Alpha and into GA parking via Alpha or Whiskey or Alpha 3, 0 Hotel Alpha. Pretty sure this is Alpha. Gotta step away for dinner. Really enjoyed the stream. Thanks, and see you next time. Hey, Downwind Sim, thank you, or Downwind Sim, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and look forward to seeing your whisper after I'm done with the stream. So thanks so much for your contributions today. All right, there's the. We'll go in at Alpha 3. So there you guys go. First Honda Jet stream all done. Let's just get this all done. There is a landing checklist, but of course, whispered someone last night. I feel your mom joke coming on. Alright, bringing it into the FBO. And again, fuel right at 400 as we're pulling in. That's not great, but that's not terrible. Should have been closer to 500, so. Alright, let's pull it on in here. Now, for those of you that are high speed, low drag, there's something called utilities and then trip stats. You're not seeing them here, but that's okay. So, all right, shutdown's really, really difficult, guys. Just try and bear with me here. You ready for it? Engines off. Oxygen off. And then once chocks are in, we'll open the main door, the rear cargo door, and the front cargo door. Brakes released because you have chocks, battery off, and then that's it. So welcome to Portland. Again, I appreciate everybody being here on stream today. We'll go ahead and get everything buttoned up. And then we'll call that it for the stream. And again, I will be getting this up on YouTube for everybody to see it. And then if you have questions or comments about it, feel free to like, subscribe, join the Discord, all that happy good stuff. And again, I appreciate everybody being here. And hopefully you guys got to learn a little bit about the Honda today. So, parting shots before I get out of here, guys, because I'm about to wrap it up. We've been here for 3.5 hours. 07, thanks. No, thank you for being here, guys. So that being said, MCRN Tachi. Worthy purchase before I get out of here. For the value, I'd say yes. For a very light jet, it's pretty feature packed, and it's only going to get better. Modeling's very well done. Some finicky things with the G3000 that can be overcome with a little bit more fine tuning. And based on what I just flew, I'm going to have a conversation with Marwan about it. And I'm almost positive he's going to be able to change it, make those changes. So, yeah, for the cost, absolutely worth getting. So, all right, guys, that's it. For those of you that just joined and followed, I appreciate it. Welcome. We'll see you guys on the next stream. MCR and Tachi, out.